This is an urgent travel warning to anyone who's coming to Thailand anytime soon. I'm not joking. This is the last video in the world that I want to be making. But I figured since a lot of you guys out there follow me, follow my channel to get all the best things to do in Thailand and to see the adventures over here, that I should let you guys know what's going on here. It's the news that everyone's talking about. Lots of people are angry about. And I figured that what I would do is give you a roundup. It is Sunday afternoon, sun's about to set, and these rules come into effect overnight this night. I'm going to run you through what we think the rules are based on various news sources, and by the end of the video, you'll know what we know here on the ground. And if you have a flight next week, best of luck to you. If you're unvaccinated, you'll hear all about why I'm saying that. We'll get into it. And I'm going to end the video with a little bit of good news. So stick around to the end, and at least we'll try and end on a good note. Anyway, I got my laptop here, and I'm just going to run you through the various news stories. We woke up today. The rumors have been circulating all week. Nobody thought it would actually happen, but Bangkok Post, COVID jab rules for travelers confirmed. The aviation regulator says that the requirement to all passengers on international flights landing from 1 a.m. Monday. So that would be Monday, January 9th, starting at 1 a.m. This is going to go into effect. It says all international travelers, but Scuttlebutt says that might not be the case. So what's going on is that because China's opened back up, and because they got COVID running rampant there for the first time ever, a lot of countries are saying, hey, you need vaccines, or you need a negative COVID test for Chinese tourists to be welcomed in. Well, Thailand decided to go that route at the last minute, but rather than just apply it to the Chinese, they decided to apply it to everyone. So, as you can see here, the requirement that all international travelers show proof of full COVID-19 vaccination before boarding flights to Thailand will take effect from Sunday. This applies to all travelers aged 18 and over. And as you notice, it says that this is going to be on the airlines in whatever country you're boarding from. The airlines have been informed that, just like the good old days, they got to check for vaccine certificates before they'll let you on your plane. So if you're booked to come to Thailand this week and you're not vaccinated, none of us know how your story is going to end, but we're definitely hoping for the best for you. So that you got to show proof of full vaccination or a letter certifying that you have recovered from COVID at some point in the last 6 months. I suspect most people who've had COVID in the last 6 months have just kind of weathered it out at home and don't have any sort of letter. But if you have that and you're unvaccinated, then you could get in. Also, if you're unvaccinated, then if you have proof of why you can't get a vaccine, you can also get in. I should just point out, for vaccinated people who have had at least two shots, this isn't really an issue. It's not going to affect you guys. It's going to affect all the people who haven't been vaccinated, of which I know there's a lot of you out there. So that's Bangkok Post. There's the confirmation. Airlines will be responsible for checking before passengers board and must bar those without the correct paperwork. Man, if you got 2 weeks booked in Thailand starting on Tuesday and you get shut down in your home airport, I would imagine it's going to be tough to be getting COVID refunds in this day and age. This is a true blast from the shitty past. And then one other wrinkle is, if you're traveling from Thailand when you leave, or if you're leaving Thailand to a country where a negative PCR test is still required, such as China or India and maybe some other countries, then you definitely need to have health insurance and show proof of this to enter Thailand. So that's the Bangkok Post, but it's not just the Bangkok Post. Let's just give a quick scout through. We'll go down to Phuket, the Phuket GO website. They're trending stories over here. The top 2 stories: new regulations for travel to Thailand, including proof of COVID vaccines. Second story: proof of COVID vaccines will be required again for all arrivals to Thailand. The new guidelines are for all non-Thais. This is where this part of the story comes out. Apparently, this applies to everyone around the world except Thai nationals who won't be subject to these new restrictions. This just got outlined by the public health minister on Thursday afternoon. So again, this is kind of unfolding day by day. The same deal, all passengers over 18. Vaccines must have been had at least 14 days prior to departure. So you couldn't just zip out, get one, and then hop on the plane tomorrow. Thai citizens with a Thai passport are exempt from all vaccinations and insurance requirements. Transit-only passengers are exempt from having to present vaccination certificates or proof of insurance. And again, it's the airlines that have to police this back in everyone's port of origin. There's a list of the approved vaccines. I'll leave a link to this article here in Phuket GO in case that you have that specific question. You can come and check. What else do we got? This is The Independent. Now we're into the British news. Let's take a listen.
Beijing has slammed the recent decisions of 12 countries requiring travelers flying in from China to have a negative COVID test 48 hours before their flight. The decisions were taken as a result of exploding numbers of cases in China following the abrupt reversal of the country's policy.
So Beijing is upset that countries are asking for negative COVID tests upon arrival. Is this the same Beijing who's been locking people down and putting robot dogs out on the street and literally grabbing old ladies from their houses and locking them in places for 3 straight years? It's the same Beijing we're talking about. Now they're upset that people want to see a negative COVID test. Okay, yeah, gotcha, Beijing. I do want to take you over here to Richard Barrow's Twitter feed. That's the general news. Now I'm going to give you a little bit of insight here. Richard Barrow provides great updates for this sort of thing on his Twitter feed. You could follow him to stay up to the minute. Here's a summary about what we know. This is adding insights from a senior government official and what we think will happen next. From what I was told, the Civil Aviation Authority made some errors. Mainly, they said vaccine certificates would only need people over 18. Secondly, there are complaints from airlines who are now being forced to do the Thai government's dirty work. Number 3, I'm told CAT are now being pressured to change the requirement in Rule 5 to refuse boarding if the person doesn't have a vaccine certificate, to testing them on arrival instead. Hopefully we'll have clarity on this soon. Some flights are actually about to leave. You might be watching this from your home, packing your last bathing suit into your suitcase, getting ready to fly over here. Number 4, it's very unlikely that your documents will be checked when you arrive in Thailand, as there's just too many arrivals now. You will not be deported if you have a missing document. So it sounds like if you get through your airport and get on your plane, you might still make it here. About insurance, this is most likely going to stay, but it only applies, as we said before, to people flying to a country that requires a negative test. If you're not sure if you need insurance, then you should just fly. They won't deport you when you arrive in Thailand. Again, this is just opinions, advice from Richard, who's usually a really good source of this stuff. But it doesn't make it that it's fact. Facts are murky and hard to come by. This is all happening so fast. Many people have been asking about land borders. This apparently hasn't been discussed, so please stand by for further updates about that. But so far, it doesn't seem like this will apply to land borders. Richard says, what would I do if I wasn't vaccinated and had a flight landing in Thailand this week? Knowing Thailand, I would just go ahead with my plans and I wouldn't cancel. They will either backtrack tomorrow or no one will really care about checking the documents. Tit, as they say. This is Thailand. So that's Richard's opinion. As always, things change rapidly in Thailand. No one knows what curveball's coming next. Yeah, you could follow Richard. I'm going to be doing another video next weekend to give you guys the current status of how the week played out, how things have gone so far. But I did want to give you one more piece of insight. This is from the Thailand Weekly newsletter that just came out mere hours ago. And this is actually our newsletter. Adam wrote this up. And if you want to just always be up to date on Thailand, head to our website, retiredworkingforyou.com. Sign up for the free Thailand Weekly. And every Sunday, you're going to get news and stories delivered to your email inbox for free. So, lead story on Thailand Weekly, same thing. All the same information. You know, our take on this that definitely isn't the best news, all things considered, but somewhat expected. Well, why was it expected? Well, with China finally opening up and experiencing an insane wave of COVID, as soon as the U.S. put in restrictions, we figured it was only a matter of time before Thailand followed suit and did something similar. What the interesting part here is that these requirements apply to all international travelers. It's a classic case of Thailand taking a neutral stance on the world stage. Thailand has remained sovereign for millennia, at least centuries upon centuries, by taking a neutral stance. And this is they're doing this again. So what do we got here? Bloomberg has,
efforts. China has prevailed over unprecedented difficulties and challenges.
China has prevailed. I would go as far as to say worst country in the world to have experienced this pandemic was probably China. Everyone wants the tourists to come back, Chinese tourists included, but I can't listen to them kind of say that they've prevailed, because the bottom line is they delayed the inevitable. And here we are. And now, unfortunately, it's impacting people from around the world who just want to come over, crack an ice cold Leo, you know, smoke a little legal weed and enjoy your favorite beaches or temples. Oh, yes, I said that I would finish with some good news. I wanted that there to trigger my memory. 2 pieces of good news. Number 1, I'm having a meetup in Chiang Mai, January 21st. So save the date, January 21st, 7 p.m. If you're in Chiang Mai, first 100 beers on me. Video coming sometime within the next week with the details, the location. But it should be a lot of fun. The last 2 Bangkok meetups were epic. Number 2, they're kind of funnily timed, but we've just launched RW4U Tours. And a lot of you have been asking where to find information about that. It's RW4UTours.com. And, you know, there's basically 3 trips available. I'll let you go look at the specific itineraries. But one thing I will tell you is that the inaugural trip of the Phuket and Koh Samui, I'm going to join whoever books. It's limited to 20 spaces. So book ahead. If you're vaccinated, you can book with confidence. If you're unvaccinated, I apologize, but it wasn't my fault, okay? So check that out, RW4U Tours. Let's see how the week plays out. Do me a favor, comment below if you've been impacted by this. I want to hear your story shared in the comments section so everyone else who's looking at the video can go down and check it out. Let's hope this story has a happy ending. Man, happy ending. I can't help myself with the happy ending jokes.